What's good, everybody? Today is August 18th. We're about to run through the insanely horrific No News Monday that today was. We're going to look at the one potential long setup that I didn't take, but I thought looks pretty good and ended up banging out. So without further ado, let's just hop straight into it. All right, so just first seconds on the charts. I mean, we are looking at straight barcode the entire New York session today. So let's zoom out and let's figure out first, why can we expect this, right? If we look first, No News Monday, like Forex Factory, literally there is nothing today. There is absolutely nothing. And then later in the week, we have Tuesday, nothing. And then we have FOMC on Wednesday, right? Thursday, unemployment. We have a ton of red folder news later in the week. So we can expect to see that Monday and Tuesday really just set up the market for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? Coming in with those expectations that today is probably not going to be the best day to trade, right? So just opening up the market, the only thing we had put in place that was a little bit of a bias splitter was this. We had this SMT put in place. And then also if we zoom out, we're within a bigger time frame daily for value gap right here. So we had SMT within a for value gap. Looks pretty good to go ahead and potentially see some kind of rejection. However, we have to be smart and make sure that we understand that, okay, yeah, we are in a no news Monday, right? So we understand that although price is aligned, conditions are most likely not going to be aligned today to give us a great setup. So now this looks pretty good to go ahead and see some kind of rejection to the upside, and which we do see some kind of rejection on Friday and maybe a little bit into the weekend. And then right when market opens on 9:30, we're sat in the middle of this range, right? Where we have an hourly for value gap sitting somewhere about here. Just quickly draw it out right here. And then we also have two stacked lows sitting here, and we're within a daily for value gap, right? So price potentially wants to come take these lows and then push higher, or it might just want to blow straight through because we're already within a daily for value gap and we already had our SMT, right? So we don't know exactly what price is going to do, so we simply just have to watch, right? So going into open, I'm just going to pull over NQ and we'll focus on this because ES pretty much just tracked and was not anywhere as clean, right? So we have these stacked lows sitting here at NQ looking pretty good, right? We see 9:30 open and just push straight into this fair value gap, right? So we're into the fair value gap now, and we go ahead and we make change in the state on this candle to the downside, potentially looking to go ahead and sweep all of this liquidity. It looked good in my opinion. The way I would have taken this trade would have had to have been something like fair value gap and then stop at the highs, and then we'll run all the way down to this or these ones right here, or maybe even this. And then honestly, I probably would have looked to see this too because of just how close it was. And if you look, that didn't end up getting tapped, so we would have gotten just barely edge on our take profit, right? Overall, some people took the short today. I thought it was pretty good. Where I thought was even better was right here, right? After we see that bounce, we are now sweeping this, and we now put in another SMT. If we look, ES at this time was not anywhere as weak at all as NQ. So ES was all the way back up in the range, and then we have NQ over here just putting in SMT. So after NQ put in SMT, this could potentially be a manipulation that could be a frame to go ahead and run higher, at least to go take out all this generated liquidity up here and go take this high and then be back within the fair value gap, right? So now we have two reasons. We have if price wants to run back into the fair value gap to rebalance and push lower, that's my take profit. If price wants to go ahead and hunt all this liquidity and then push higher, that's my first take profit, right? So that's how I'm trading this. I'm waiting for displacement, change of the state, inverse fair value gap, all that good stuff, right? We see a complete switch on market pressure, by the way, right at 10 o'clock. If we zoom out, that's the perfect time because check out our 4-hour candles here. 4-hour candle closes literally like almost like a doji, a little bit thicker than a doji. And then hourly candle, everything like these hourly 4-hour levels, that is the time that we want to see some kind of manipulation, right? So zooming back into the 1 minute, we see inverse fair value gap, we see complete switch in order flow. Then we go ahead, we see change in the state right here at this level. We tap this, and then right here, change the state. So if you wanted to enter on this first tap, you could have. I mean, I think that's fine. I like to wait for extra confirmation, especially when we have this big fair value gap resting right here. That price could potentially just want to push back into, like, peek its head above and then push lower. So I want to wait for that extra confirmation where we see that displacement strong closer through. Then I go ahead and I place my limit right here. Now I'm confident in this move. So then this would have been the trade 1.2. Oh, actually, looking not bad. So we had around a 2 RR. I mean, I think this was perfectly fine if you took this. It was really textbook. However, you couldn't have left any runner. Standard deviation levels didn't even get hit. And it was kind of just a majority inside trade. But overall, super nice model right here. I don't really think there was anything else that was good in my opinion for the rest of the day. There was some kind of SMT right here in a setup, but I still don't think it was good because sure, we're at 1250, but 1250 is not really the best time. The literal whole morning has just been chopping. So I think right after we saw both sides of this range get taken in the morning, I think it's completely fine to just get off the charts and just let this develop. And I think a lot of people definitely lost money today trying to force trades. And If you're able to sit on the sidelines, not feel any kind of FOMO, not be like, dude, I want to trade, and you're just able to watch price for what it is, because as traders, we need price to move. We need price to move a lot if we want to make a lot of money. And looking at this, there is pretty much no price movement. It's just bubbling back and forth, right? This is not what we want to expose ourselves to and put money in the line if price is just going to consolidate back and forth. That's not at all what I want to put my money in the line for. So when we can recognize that and be confident in our inaction is when we see growth in our P&L, our profitability, our win rate, statistics, everything in ourselves, and our conviction and confidence in ourselves as traders. So I think that's the most important thing today. Today was a day that the market told us, work on your discipline and do not act. And because of that, I will reward you in the future. So that's really going to be it for me today. If you guys have any questions, anything you want me to cover, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'll be the first to answer. Thank you all for listening. I hope you guys can learn something from today's video, and I'll catch you boys later. Peace out.